Hey everyone, this is Jake Kerr and welcome back Blind Faith. This week I'd like to talk about as good Christians kind of pointing out the errors of others in a kind way, but at the same time making sure they realize that they made a mistake. I think as human beings, sometimes when someone makes a mistake, it's really easy to go, or it's not my job to let them know, and just kind of keep going on with your day and ignore it, whether it affects us or not. I used to be really bad at that I'd find out something was not accessible or didn't work for me, and I'm like, doesn't matter because I won't be using it again, and go on with my day. And I've kind of learned throughout my life that as a good Christian, it's kind of my job to let people know about this kind of stuff, even if I'm not horribly bothered by it, so then they know that they need to fix something. I think this is important as good Christians and good people, just in our everyday lives. It's important to be polite about it. At the same time, it's important to correct mistakes. For example, if you're walking down the road and you see your neighbor putting something together that they bought and they're putting it together wrong, it might be the kind of thing to do to stop. And if you know they're putting them together wrong, it might be the kind of thing to do, kind of stop and just be like, hey, I think it's supposed to go together like this. I have one of those. That's how I put it together. Just be that kind person that not telling them they're doing it wrong and stuff. Like, don't walk up and be like, you're doing it wrong. You're not smart and stuff like that, because that's not the right way to do it. But just be like kind, courteous, and just let them know that they're making a mistake, because sometimes we don't realize we're making mistakes. And it's kind of like, think of it kind of like class. When I'm in class, I'm learning, and then I do the homework and I'm learning. And the homework is kind of like my thing that I turn in so the teacher or professor can tell me if I've made a mistake before I take the test. If you see someone else making a mistake, picture that as being their homework. You can help them correct so then they don't make the mistake on the final test. Like I said, being kind about it is important, but I think it's equally as important to point it out as good Christians. And then also helping guide people to God is also important. It's important because I think that the biggest mistake people can make in the world is not believing in God. And again, not telling them their beliefs are wrong, but just kind of explain your beliefs and helping them understand the whole Christian faith again, I think is the right way to go around it. I think that sometimes if we explain how we do things, I think it helps other people understand, and then it helps other people do good things. And the other topic I wanted to bring up today was, in a relationship, fighting versus arguing. I know it's a little bit different than I was talking about. But it kind of has to do the same with kind of the same things, because how to approach someone. Because now, if that same person, if you go up to your neighbor and go, oh, I think you might be putting that together wrong. I put mine together like this, and they're like, no, I'm putting it together right. I know this is how it's supposed to go. It says right here in the directions. And even if they're misreading the directions, then it becomes kind of an argument, but you don't want it to become a fight. In English class, we kind of talked about this. An argument is kind of like that, more of a polite debate, that you're kind of going back and forth and explaining why you believe you're right. And a fight is kind of hurling accusations at the other person, like you're stupid because you don't know how to put that together and stuff. And I think it's very important to keep in mind making sure that when we go into a situation, we're arguing, not fighting. I think arguing has a negative connotation. When you hear that two people are arguing, you picture the voices raised, yelling back and forth. But that's technically called fighting, I would say. Personally, because I'm using the English definition that I learned in English class of arguing. Technically, I would call it debating versus arguing versus fighting. Because debating, I would say, is the back and forth. Arguing is kind of getting a little bit irritating, and then fighting is really irritating, yelling back and forth. But either way, as good Christians, it's important to keep that calm, soothing kind of tone more when we're talking with other people, other adults and stuff. Because if we're trying to explain a situation, we should not be trying to bash the other person. We should be explaining why we believe what we believe, and be kind of looking at what their beliefs are too. So I think it's very important to just make sure we're being polite all the time. If people are making mistakes, try to help them get through it. And I think that's the message for this week. This is Jake Kerr, Blind Faith. Thanks for watching. See you all next week.